How's it going, everyone? My name is Stephen Michaels. I am joined by Phil Robinson. This is the Just Win podcast. What's up, Phil?
What's up, Steven? We're going to try this again. We had some technical difficulties for the last one, but that doesn't matter because on the Just Win, we just keep coming back better and better.
We just keep winning. That's the difference.
That's right. Nothing will throw us off from the ultimate goal of Just Win, baby.
We don't go 8 games and crumble. You know what I'm saying?
Down the stretch when it matters most.
Nope. I'll do this in cold weather, hot weather. It doesn't matter. I bring my A game every game.
Every game.
That's right.
All
right.
Let's dive into this. So, topic number one, Gerald McCoy signing. Is this a big fucking deal or is this a big fucking deal?
Well, I'm going to say if he can play like he did, a couple of years ago, it's a big deal because you can line him up again next to Ngakwe. You can line him up against Crosby if Crosby's having trouble there. The Raiders wanted guys who can rush the passer, right? Rush the quarterback. This guy can do that. He's good against the run. He's pretty much that vet presence that Gruden's been looking for. This could turn out to be maybe one of their best free agent signings, even though it happened this late, if this guy can ball out. Because I was a little suspect of that defensive line just with Yannick Ngakoue. I said this in my podcast the other day. And Crosby. The other guys in the middle are a little, worried about them. You add Gerald McCoy in there, a guy who's a Pro Bowler. Now I feel like they're a lot better. Just the name alone, if he can, it just seems like that defensive line is so much better now. Hopefully he can play. I know he's in really good shape. That wasn't a problem. They got him a pretty cheap deal too. You know what I mean? So this could be what the Raiders really needed. What's your thoughts?
I absolutely agree with you. I've been kind of skeptical about the defensive front. I watched the amount of guys that they brought in, and that'll tie into another question later. But the production that Gerald McCoy has put up throughout his entire career, he had a freak quad injury last year, but rather than come back early, he sat out the entire year to let it heal completely, which for a man of his age is the smart thing to do. But the production that he's put up is something that we haven't seen on this football team in years. In years, because even though Maurice Hurst Jr. may have gotten close to matching his sack numbers, he definitely wasn't the factor that McCoy is in the run game. And I liked Hurst. I actually think that Hurst and McCoy would have been really good too. But with
that was a big mistake.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake. But this has the propensity to be a very good deal, a very big deal for the Raiders. But let's move on. Question number 2. The Raiders find themselves looking for another linebacker, Steven. What's going on with that?
Well, I guess this has been going on for a little while. I didn't know how long this has been going on, but it's been going on for like a month now. And that's why I guess Tanner Mute. See, now, you know how like in hindsight, everything like comes together, you don't know why it's happening at that time. And then all of a sudden you realize why. If you remember, they had Tanner Muse out there playing different spots at linebacker. People thought, oh, maybe Tanner Muse will be a starter. It's just because the Raiders are not, comfortable with their linebackers. They're going to continue to, by the way, KJ Wright or not, for all I know, KJ Wright could sign with the Raiders tonight. I really don't know. I thought he signed yesterday, but whatever. They're going to sign another linebacker. So they don't like someone in that linebacker group. I mean, it's obvious because they're looking for someone to sign that can start. You know what I mean? Not like a guy who's going
to. They're looking for somebody on the weak side.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they care what side. I have a feeling, I don't know, maybe it would be weird to say this, but maybe they're not comfortable with Nicholas Morrow. But I mean, they just re-signed the guy, but I don't know. I really don't know.
Bradley was talking up Nicholas Morrow. The one you haven't heard anything about, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't, is Littleton.
Yeah, that's my first. I mean, that's obviously it comes to my head first because the guy sucked so bad last season. But KJ Wright, I don't know. Like, Would he fill Corey Little? You know what I mean? Like Corey Littleton's and Bradley's scheme. Will Bradley just be like, oh yeah, the guy sucks, or will he have that? Oh well, he sucked just because he wasn't in my scheme. When I had him, he was great. I don't know the answer to that question. I honestly do not. Maybe I'll know later on today. But what I do know is they're looking for a linebacker, and what I know for a fact is they're not done with KJ Wright until he signs with a different team. They're going to wait till about Sunday. But Gruden is signing players, and this is not going to be the only player, the only position this team signs. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's a little scary, to be honest, because we're already into camp. And I know they're panicking about the defense, and I don't like that. But that's why they brought Gerald McCoy in. That's why they're trying to get our linebacker. They're trying to fill their holes of need with proven Pro Bowl players, and that's probably the best way to go. It worked for Tampa Bay last season.
Yes, it did. Which brings us right into topic number 3 on schedule. Does Gus Bradley believe in the holdover talent? Let me start this off. No, he doesn't. He's giving guys an opportunity, which is what you could expect. Gave them a chance to come into camp to perform mentally. They were doing whatever it was that they were doing, whether they were good or not. Now, Bradley has a way of operating in which he's going to reward guys for being able to do things, period. He's going to get everybody on the field to play so that everybody's ready to play. But when you see the amount of guys, the way that this roster is being turned over and guys are cycling in, cycling out, and free agents are being worked out and they're looking to improve at positions, it's because they don't like what they have. And once Paul Gunther was fired, I was of the belief that we're going to get a chance to see who can play and who can't play. And right now, Bradley's took a look at his defensive line and nearly cycled out his entire lineup for defensive line, save for a couple of guys that he can't get rid of due to contract situations. The defensive backfield is almost going to be completely brand new because all of the guys that they brought in are replacing three out of 4 of the guys who were there who started.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, the whole defense is going to be different besides a couple of linebackers. You know what I mean? Like the whole defense, that whole defensive line is going to be different. Max Crosby's the only guy that's going to be a starter. I mean, you still got the leftover,
and
from
Hank,
before.
Yeah.
But it's clear that Gus Bradley doesn't think highly of the talent that's been there. Otherwise, if he did, those guys would be starting. Instead, they're bringing in Yannick Ngakoue. Not Clinton Farrell isn't the starting defensive end. Nope. You know what I mean? It's just the only one so far they have in as a starter is Mullen. So we'll see if he even sticks around as a starter. So it is. I can't read into Gus Bradley's mind, but I can look at, obviously what they're doing here. So it seems like he's not that confident in these guys. And you know what? These guys, they got to start showing up. There's still time left to impress these coaches. It's not like it's over. But they better ramp it up, man. Seriously. I'm talking guys like Amik Robertson, and I mean, the list goes on and on.
The first round picks, Damon Arnett, Jonathan Abram. It's not looking good for those two young
Jonathan Abram's the guy that worries me the most, by the way. That a guy that might, they'll have packages for him, but not on the field that much. Damon Arnett, I feel more confident. I know he's been doing a little bit better this season in camp. I think he got the message. He got bigger. So, but, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes when they, do these one-on-ones inside with no media. Is he getting killed every play? I don't know. Now, if the Raiders go ahead and sign, let's say, a cornerback right now, we know there's problems. Because right now, I mean, obviously there's problems. Nevin Lawson might start. So that's a problem right there. It's a very big problem.
Yeah, I'm not fond of that one. But all right. Well, since we don't believe that Bradley believes in the holdover talent, I believe we can move on. Have we seen the last of Rocket Jalen Richard?
All right, I'll go first. My answer is going to be, I don't know, because I really don't know. It feels like it will be because, the money has to come from somewhere. It's signing Gerald McCoy. They're going to sign a linebacker soon. They have tryouts today. So tryouts at the weekend, I should say. So it seems like, with his injury, it would be a good time to move on. Or they wait until he's healthy in 3 weeks and then cut him. Because the plan, by the way, just to let everyone know, the plan was always to cut Jalen Richard after training camp so he can't jump on a new team and, and pick things up and tell them everything to, So the less time he has to prepare, blah, 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 for a new team, the better for the Raiders. So the plan was always to cut him, but after camp. That was the plan from day one. Now, will they cut him is the big question. Because I don't know how many running backs are out there that can come in and pick up all those protections that he already knows. But I also don't know how bad this ankle injury is. So that's going to be the two big questions right there. But my gut tells me they're going to end up cutting him after training camp. But, that's just a guess. No one's told me that, but that's just a guess. What do you think?
Yes, the production, you're keeping the guy to block. I mean, let's call it what it is. He Jalen Richard impressed us with a 75-yard run for a touchdown at home. That was how he started his career, and that's probably to this day been the best play of his career. He has a problem finding the end zone. His vision is suspect at best, and I believe I'm being generous.
At best, it's the worst. That guy can't find a hole.
Right in front of. I mean, the only guy I've seen whose vision was worse was T. Rash. But
oh yeah,
but that dude was awful. But in the passing game, he can come up with some cool looking first down catches, but he's still not scoring. Jalen Richard doesn't see the end zone. He can't find the end zone. He can't get to the end zone. And I can't.
And the Raiders, and what does Gruden keep saying? They need to score points in the red zone. They need to score points. They need touchdowns.
Yeah, and you've seen him come up with some pretty huge blocks like the one he threw against the Jets so that Carr could hit Ruggs deep. But I'm not paying a guy $3.5 million to block if he's not a lineman.
Yeah, but I will say this in defense of Jalen Richard, which, I agree with you. His vision is terrible. He's not a really good. He is good at protections. Like, he saved Derek Carr's ass a lot. And that's something that, he's been coached up to do. And I think that's why Tom Cable and obviously Gruden like him because of that. But if they can find someone that can do that can come in and learn all that right away, it's just he's known this playbook now for 3-4 years, so he's knows what he's doing. So that's the problem the Raiders have. But again, he's $3 million. So they got to make a decision. Either they keep him and they, have him go out there every once in a while, because the only thing I'll say is he was going to be a big part of Marcus Mariota's red zone packages where Mariota comes in the game, and there's a few packages for Mariota. We are going to see Marcus Mariota on the field this season. There's packages designed for him, and Jalen Richard is in some of those packages. So, if you take him out, I don't know who they can add in. And he's only in as a guy who can chip block and then, run out for a pass, screen pass or whatever. So it's going to be interesting. Speaking of packages, Phil, how many packages do you think Marcus Mariota should have per game? How many times should we see Marcus Mariota per game?
You should see him. So at a perfect situation, I would like to see him take over in the red zone. And what I would do is I'd give Carr a drive or two. If he struggles, you go to if he struggles in the red zone, you go to Mariota. If he's struggling on the field and he's not seeing guys that are open, he's not able to elude the rush or make some things happen, you go to Mariota. I think that this offense, I watched the Charger game, and when Derek Carr got hurt, the offense came to life. And I don't just mean on the field. They look different. They responded differently. They were happy.
Yes.
They were upbeat. They were more demonstrative. They were feeling it when Mariota was in there.
And from what I real quick, not stomp on you, but from what I've seen on the little practice film I got, which isn't a lot, it's like 7.5 minutes, but still, a lot of it was him in it. The team still has that energy when he's running the plays. It's like a different kind of vibe. Derek Carr is really like cerebral. You know what I mean? Like, let's get everything, everything's fine. Let's get everything. Whereas when Marcus Mariota goes in, it's more like street ball almost. You know what I mean? Like, guys are getting excited because this guy's running around. Now, sometimes he can be reckless with the ball, but still, it's more fun with Marcus Mariota.
Right. It's the difference from 100% to 110%. When Mariota's in there, they just give that extra little bit because they know that he's going to keep the play alive, and all they got to do is just get open, and he'll hit them, and he'll hit them deep, he'll hit them intermediate, he'll hit them short. It doesn't matter. If you get open and he's running around and he sees you, he will hit you. And the beauty of it is that since he's no longer injured and he can actually feel the ball when he throws it, his accuracy has increased quite a bit.
Yeah, that's the only thing that worries me is his accuracy. You know what I mean? Like, he can throw some stupid passes sometimes. He did against the Chargers. You know what I mean? Throwing at the double cup. That's stuff that Carr usually doesn't do. Like, I don't know. That's why if I just had to take a pure passing, I would take Derek Carr over Marcus Mariota. But if I had to take, obviously Mariota has the advantage with his legs. And if Derek Carr could just even run like that, he would be awesome.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure that Derek Carr has that leg up on him in terms as a pure passer. Remember, Mariota's been injured a lot.
I know, but he throws some passes that are, I mean, even that Chargers game, man, he threw a couple passes that he really shouldn't have thrown.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, his accuracy's got to get better. Like I said, I know people in our group might not like this, but I think Derek Carr's a better quarterback than Marcus Mariota. I really do. If I had to choose one of them, I'm choosing Derek Carr. The only thing I have, it's weird because Marcus Mariota does bring a different element to the game where I think the Raiders need. I think that offense needs. I think they need that kind of quarterback. So even though I may think Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Mariota, at the end of the day, I might have to have Mariota in that lineup because he changes everything. He makes Henry Ruggs will be better because he'll give Henry Ruggs more time to run around and get open. He has great chemistry with Brian Edwards, as we've seen in that Chargers game last season. So that's what he has going for him. So as far as how many packages we see, I think you should see at least one per game, honestly. I don't know if we will, but at least one per game. You can't do it all the time because then teams will know it's coming and then it won't work. But like one per game, kind of how, or maybe two. I think they should do exactly what the Saints did with Taysom Hill. Like that's how you use Mariota. You use him in the red zone. I mean, you throw him out there when a team's least expect it on a 3rd and 8. All of a sudden, Mariota's back there. You know what I mean? That's what you got to use. And you put him back there, Kenyon Drake, run some wildcat stuff. That's the best way to utilize him, in my opinion.
I definitely agree. But with all that being said, that takes us into our final topic of the day. Should Gruden be on the hot seat?
You want to go first?
I would love to go first. Should Gruden be on the hot seat? You look at what Gruden has put up, what Gruden has done in his 3 years with the team now. That is enough to get a coach fired from 31 teams in this league. Nobody would continue to employ John Gruden after the 3 years that he's had in Oakland and Las Vegas. And I don't mean that it's all been bad, but the way that you've had these 2 late season collapses, the way that you start off the year talking about no excuses, and then you got every excuse in the book by week 10. The inability to corral his team during COVID and get them to all behave and do what they were supposed to do and show up on the field and be consistent. And not only that, we've heard a lot of talk.
Yes.
A lot of talk But everything that's happened under his watch, you misused all the draft picks. You ran Khalil Mack out of here for guys who can't play, which is a lesson in itself. You hire Mayock, you hire Gunther, you're loyal to your guys, almost too loyal to your guys, and you got guys who've been hanging around that shouldn't be here anymore. At some point, the whole grand scheme of things comes to this. You're in a new building, you're in a new market and you're trying to make have a fresh start. You have to win. Just win. Like the podcast. Just win.
And that's what I was just gonna say. And I'm so sick of the talk. Oh, well, this is the year. You know what? The fans, some Raider fans, they suffer from a syndrome too. Like they accept losing. I don't accept losing. I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't grow up like a Raiders fan, but I don't like losing. No. I don't think it's fun. I don't think it's cool. I don't think tying is cool either. Win, lose, or tie. Raider till I die bullshit. No. The guy who used to own this team had one slogan: just to win. That's all he wanted. It's just to win football games.
Here, how you doing? What it looks like.
Yeah, and if you're John Gruden, this guy who's supposed to be an offensive guru, you've been here for 3 years, and you have yet to have a winning record. What is he in his fourth year now? Is this his fourth year?
His fourth year back, and the thing is that he was one year removed from a playoff team when he took over.
Yeah, it's not like he took over a team that won 2 games. He took over a team that was already 500, basically. You know what I mean? That was around that range. And I mean, come on. Like I said, that's why I don't put it all on Derek Carr. I put a lot on John Gruden. His play calling in the red zone is atrocious. And this guy is supposed to be an offensive guru. Meanwhile, I'm at home and I can call better plays. I know everyone thinks that who's watching the game on TV, but literally anyone could. Like Joe from Idaho could watch the game and say, I wouldn't run that. I wouldn't run the ball 3 times in a row on the 5-yard line. Because normally you don't see that in the NFL, because normally head coaches don't do that because they're not playing like it's 1996. John Gruden is. This guy needs a come to Jesus moment. This guy needs to get better. People around that organization need to stop being so scared of John Gruden, first of all, and start demanding winning. Because at the end of the day, Las Vegas, that market will fail if John Gruden fails. And I think he knows that, by the way. Let's not forget, this is John Gruden, biggest ego in the NFL. I mean, come on. The guy's in commercials. This guy has an ego like nobody's business. So I think he knows that it's very important now. Because remember, even when he started taking over in year 2, he kept saying year 4, year 4. Year 4 was very important for him. Why? Because he likes to give quarterbacks 4 years. He said that right when he got hired. He likes to give quarterbacks 4 years in a system. Throughout his career, his coaching career, every quarterback usually lasts 4 years. So this is a big year for Derek Carr and John Gruden. Because guess who's going to get the blame if the Raiders win, let's say, 9 games this season? It's going to be Mike Mayock and Derek Carr. Mm-hmm. And John Gruden will stay. He'll go get a veteran, someone he likes, someone that he won't start a rookie because he usually doesn't do that unless he falls in love with someone and molds them. But then we're in another rebuilding stage, and by the time that's all over, John Gruden's gone. You know what I mean? If they draft a rookie quarterback. That's why last season I was telling people, no, you don't want to draft a rookie quarterback in the first round, because that buys John Gruden 4 years of not being very good and having an excuse for it. With Derek Carr, he's a veteran.
Hold on. That what you just said just absolutely disgusts me. I almost threw up in my mouth. There is no good reason for sucking. There is no good reason for not getting it done. There's no good reason for putting out some mediocre play and continuing to trot those guys out because you want to look like a genius. This is the Just Win podcast from the franchise that brought you Just Win, baby. I'm sick of people excusing losing. That shit irritates my soul.
Me too. losing is like the worst thing in the world. Why would you want to be a loser?
I,
But
I,
hopefully, I mean, listen, the bottom line is John Gruden's not going to be on the hot seat, even though he should be, because Mike Mack will get the blame. Mike Mack will get fired. Derek Carr will be replaced, and he'll buy himself 3 years. But
yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if John Gruden does not turn this shit around, Las Vegas will just be a place for opposing fans to go. And I hope Mark Davis knows this. That's why I say it in all my public shows, just hoping that maybe the more people who say it, and everyone who has a podcast, the more people say that, the more chances are Mark Davis will hear it. People are not going to hear it just from me saying it. I need every single person that has a podcast that talks about the Raiders that say the same line. So maybe it will get into his head, because Mark Davis does listen to fans. We know that. Like he'll take their input. That's how he is. He's basically a fan who owns the team, for crying out loud.
I mean,
So
I just got to figure out how to get to some place where I can say somewhere these guys can hear me, because they need to hear me, and I'll set them straight. I'll let these guys know the truth. I don't know who, like you said, who's kissing their ass, whose head is all the way up their ass and telling them that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, when everybody can clearly see that this is lacking. We need better.
Listen, I hate to throw Mark Davis under the bus here, but it's part Mark Davis's fault, and that's why people left, because are leaving the Raiders that are in the financial department, because Mark Davis keeps making stupid decisions when they're telling him, hey, you probably shouldn't be spending money here. Probably shouldn't buy a women's basketball team. You probably shouldn't do it, but he's doing it. He's spending a lot of money. Whereas, they're like, hey, in Gruden doesn't like all this spending money, because he needs money for the players. He's thinking more about the football operations. So I'm hoping that's one good thing that happens out of this whole thing, is that Gruden somehow, gets Mark Davis to be like, hey, listen, stop with your spending spree over here. People are dropping like flies. They're quitting because you won't stop spending money on stupid shit. We need money for football, the operations, not, for ribbon cutting, because that's all Mark Davis seems to care about, is cutting fucking ribbons. So yes, John Gruden is on the hot seat, or he should be on the hot seat. He better win this season. Derek Carr better win this season, because I'm sick of his excuses and all this bullshit. I'm sick of stats. I'm sick of all of that nonsense, because the only thing that matters, and 5 years from now, are we going to be looking back and saying, Derek Carr had great stats if the Raiders never win? Or are we going to say Derek Carr was a bust? What's the media going to say? What's the world going to say? They're going to say he was a bust. They're not going to say, well, he had fantastic stats. No one gives a shit about stats. What they care about is wins and losses. And that's what it comes down to.
Championships is what it comes down to. Holding the Lombardi trophy. I don't give
That's correct.
Fuck, a flying fuck, a rat fuck, a dirty fuck, any kind of fuck whatsoever. I'm playing out of fucks to give about stats. Nothing matters if you do not win.
The whole point is winning. It's not about losing. That's a losing culture, by the way. When I point out, let's say I'm on Twitter and I point out, hey, Raiders are, they got to start winning. This has got to be a year they got to win 11 games. Derek Carr's got to play better. And I get some, whatever, George from Mississippi, with his at Carr Forever handle telling me Carr had this many stats, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a flying fuck about his stats. I don't care. Listen, Trent Dilfer played for the Baltimore Ravens, right? That guy has a Super Bowl ring. He's one of the worst quarterbacks ever. He has a Super Bowl ring. I guarantee you, if Derek Carr could trade his stats for that ring, he's going to take that ring any day of the week. That's what those fans don't understand. Derek Carr wants a Super Bowl ring more than anything. He could give a shit about his stats too. He wants to win. So they are on the wrong message here. You know what I mean? Like, they think in their mind that Derek Carr only cares about stats. He could give a shit about stats. He wants to win championships. He wants to win Super Bowls. And he's got to start doing it, or he's going to have to try doing it somewhere else. That's what I'm saying. And John Gruden, better start installing plays that, are creative and get, listen, if Derek Carr's going to be your quarterback, get him in the best position to win. There is no excuses now because he has a talent at the wide receiver position. He has the running back talent. There's no excuse for John Gruden not to put up 40 points a game. There really isn't.
There is just too much talent on this team for them to not be winning. If you were sticking,
especially on the offense. I mean, even if that defense sucked, that offense should score 40 points a game. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. I mean, the difference. If I believe if you go on Raiders.com, if you guys are listening, you can even. I'm sure they have videos. Just go look at Brian Edwards right now in practice, and look at last year's practice film, whatever, or game. He looks like a different person. He's like looks like he's taller. He literally is a big guy, catches with his body, he can do one-hand catches. This guy is going to go over 1,000 yards this season. Mark my words. He will go over 1,000 yards. Henry Ruggs is so much stronger. He's so much faster getting out of his breaks. Derek Carr can throw slant passes to these guys all day long. Like Richard Gannon used to do with Jerry Rice and Tim Brown. Remember the slants over the middle? And one of them would catch it and just run for a touchdown. That's what's going to happen here. I mean, Derek Carr doesn't need to step into his throws. He can just do his deal. Step back, boom, launch one, 7-yard pass can turn into a 80-yard touchdown. It can happen every single time with the speed and talent they have on the field. John Gruden is out of excuses. I demand that he wins this season. This better be a playoff team this season. No more rebuilding, guys. We're done with that bullshit.
At least not rebuilding with the players they got.
Yeah. No, this is a win now team. This is a win now team. In fact, this is how I can tell you it's a win now team. When they signed Yannick Ngakoue, one of his first questions to the Raiders, are you rebuilding or are you in win now mode? They told him we are in win now mode. That's the only, because he did not want to sign with any rebuilding team. Like, he was totally against it. So he signed with the Raiders thinking, because they told him, no, we want to go for a championship. And then, of course, he wanted Quentin Jefferson on his team, which he got, which I don't know if Quentin Jefferson's going to. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Gruden should be on the hot seat.
All right. So that brings us to the end of this installment of the Just Win podcast, where we tell you all how the Raiders are just going to win what they need to do. I have a show later on today with Phil Jones called The Unfiltered Truth. It'll be on Spotify. It'll be on iHeartRadio. It'll be on Facebook Live. It'll also be on our YouTube channel as well. And then later it'll get posted on our website, www.unfilteredtruth.com. Steven, you got anything to promote?
Yeah. The Raiders Daily Elite. Where are you people? We'll be doing shows all I'm gonna do a show Monday. I'm gonna do a show Wednesday. Then I'm hopefully I get this room cleared out so I can debut my new talk show. It's gonna be fantastic, Phil. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of that in the group, a lot more content this year than last season. We're gonna go all out this year. So get ready because I expect winning. That's why. So just stay tuned. Like I said, I believe there will be Raider news later on today or sometime today. And I think that will continue into next week. You're going to see a lot of tryouts and things like that. So pay attention to all of that stuff. Sometimes the Raiders Twitter, they tweet it out before everyone else does. But yeah, that's about it. Listen to Phil's show. They're grinding over there. They're trying. They're doing what they can do. What time is that at, Phil?
It is at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, 10 p.m. real time it's on. So everyone tune into that. Maybe I'll tune into it too. Who knows? I don't know. Friday Night SmackDown's tonight. But anyways, okay. My name is Stephen Michaels. Phil, say goodbye to your peeps.
Everyone, goodbye until next week when we do more Just Win.
That's all we do here. Later, guys. Just win.